Comments on the plaque unveiling, please.
Well, I'm a historian and a lecturer.
Oh, you look intellectual.
I take people all over London. I have a group with me today called Discovering London, and we were in the area here, heard about the plaque unveiling of Roger Fry.
Oh.
The great...
So you're gate crashers, really?
We are indeed.
What am I talking to you for? You're not famous.
More infamous, I think you'll find.
Good, that's what I like to hear. Good.
Then under the London County Council, then under the Greater London Council, and since 1986 under the auspices of English Heritage. The most remarkable aspect of this scheme is that it's entirely driven by the public. The Blue Plaques panel receives nominations from the public, and it's on the basis of those nominations that we in the end decide which schemes can actually go forward. And it's as a result of that that an astonishing range of people are commemorated in a no less astonishing range of buildings, from Jimi Hendrix to Winston Churchill, from Jomo Kenyatta to Karl Marx, and from Charles Darwin to Nellie Melba. And to that long list today, we're delighted to add Roger Fry. Francis is going to speak about him in a moment. Before we get to that, I have one or two words of thanks to the proposer of this plaque, John Budden, who originally proposed it in 2003 and who also lives in this terrace. John, alas, cannot be with us today, but this is in a sense the outcome of his labours and persistence. To Keith Day and Peter Shepherd for allowing the plaque to grace their beautifully restored house, which does look as spectacular inside now as it looks outside. To Howard Spencer, the English heritage historian who worked on this project, and to Libby Wardle, who has made it all happen, including today's ceremony. And finally, to Francis Spalding, as I'm sure you all know, an exceptionally distinguished art historian and biographer. Biographies of Whistler, Duncan Grant, Vanessa Bell, John and Nathaniel Piper. But above all, of course, the author of the standard work on Roger Fry. So it's entirely appropriate that she should now say a few words about him before unveiling his plaque.
Almost 100 years after it came into existence, the Omega is finally accorded a blue plaque. It should of course be multicoloured, for the Omega with great exuberance turned its back on the English love of tasteful hues and matching tones. It flung reds, greens, blues, purples across tabletop screens and anything that was capable of some form of decoration. Here Duncan Grant painted a screen with blue sheep on an orange-red background. Here Vanessa Bell, combining her awareness of cubism with memories of a camping holiday, painted another screen in a very avant-garde style. In both handling of design and colour, Omega objects display a daring and at times a violence that still looks inharmonious amid the restrained asceticism that we usually associate with good taste. England needed the Omega. It used strong, clear colour at a time when such colours were confined to children's toys, gypsy caravans and circus decoration. Winifred Gill, one of the assistants at the Omega, was sent out from this building to Liberty's to buy some emerald green silk. The shocked assistant said to her, "Emerald, madam, is something we never stock." This plaque also celebrates not just the Omega, but also Roger Fry and his part in conceiving of these workshops. Made momentarily inactive by a delayed train, he sat in a railway refreshment room and looked around him. He took in the room's stained glass windows, its lace curtains, its linen cluster wall covering, an area of wallpaper imitating satin brocade. He looked at the pots, the plants, the chairs and the light fittings, and the variety of imitative techniques and the heavy use of mechanized ornament amounted in his mind to a catalogue of horrors. I wrote of this week, display is indeed the end and explanation of it all. Not one of these things has been made because the maker enjoys the making. So the Omega, I think, protested against inner traditionalism, protested against the deadness of machine finish. It protested against oppressive forms of authority and conformity, and against the use of the decorative arts as a means to promote social prestige. You probably know that it's named after the last letter in the Greek alphabet, so it was intended to suggest the last word in passion. And of course it offended the religious susceptibilities of some of Fry's Quaker relatives because of Christ's words, I am the Alpha and the Omega. Logan Pearsall Smith, a friend of his, thought the name appalling, suggestive, he said, of Eureka and other horrors. These adverse opinions were ignored. Fry was not averse to the use of the machine, but he wasn't inspired by it. Nor was he, however, a preservationist. It wasn't here that he didn't here try to revive forgotten or dying craft.